I'm Antonacci. I am your ambassador upline. All right, to start recording again. I'm Allie, and I'm your ambassador upline. And thanks for jumping on. So I have been with It Works for almost 6 years. It'll be 6 years this summer. And before It Works, I was a nonprofit fundraiser. I was married. I had a 2-year-old, and like life looked really good on the outside. But, we had the house, the cars, the daycare, whatever. But on the inside, we were really, really struggling, and no one knew it. And we really were like hiding that we were struggling because, nobody wants to like go to college, get the good jobs and all that, and then like admit that it sucks. Right. So, what was crazy, and I was just thinking about these numbers, is I was in like my dream job, probably one of the highest paying nonprofit jobs I was ever going to get because I was a fundraiser. And, it's not like you make commissions on fundraising. And my paycheck covered almost to the dime our mortgage, our daycare, and our 2 car payments. And that was it, like to the dime. My paycheck came in, and that would all go out, and then that was it. So my husband was in sales. And he was in liquor sales, which meant the majority of his annual income came in the last 3 months of the year during the holiday season. So, and he was commission only. So we would have really, really good months and really, really bad months. And so the really bad months, things would go on credit cards because there just was no more cash. Like you still have to buy groceries. You still have to put gas in the car. You still have to pay your electric bill and your Wi-Fi. And we had student loans and things went on credit cards. So then those months too, you were trying to like make more than the minimum payments on the credit cards, right? So, and then we'd have the really good months where he'd be booming, and then we would try to like catch up on all the things that we didn't have. And so we both had student loans. We both came into our marriage with some credit card debt. So we had been working really, really hard to get rid of that. And we just like could not get ahead. So I'd seen a friend posting on Facebook. I had seen what she was doing, and I thought like, well, this is freaking nuts what she's doing, but she talked about a $10,000 bonus, and I was like, well, that would change everything. We had about $10,000 in credit card debt. So we had one credit card. Thank God we were smart enough to at least just have the one credit card and not just like keep opening credit cards. And, but we had one that was maxed. I maxed it out with the $99 to join, you guys. And I would do that 100 times over again. I cannot stress enough that $99 literally buys you a limitless business. And it's what you decide to do with it. And I'll be honest, that for the first 2 weeks, I was in my head. I was nervous about posting. I was like trying to block my mom and my father-in-law and my best friend from my posts. I didn't know like about custom settings yet. My best friend told me it was a scam. My mom told me I needed to try to get my money back. My father-in-law unfriended me on Facebook. So that was pretty cool. And, but I just had this moment, like, so my husband got paid once a month at that time. And I had this moment where I was like I joined on the 2nd, and his paycheck was coming up the 21st, and we never knew what it was until like it hit, and it was like way lower than it should have been. And I was like trying to pay our bills, and I couldn't, like, there just wasn't enough money to make more than the minimum payment on the credit card and still pay the student loans. And he had to pay for his own gas in his truck. So I had to make sure there was like enough gas in the money in the account to cover gas for him all month for his sales route. So I was like, this is dumb. Like, I have to stop caring what these other people think and their judgy attitudes, because they're not filling up my gas tank. They're not paying off this credit card. They're not paying the $1,200 a month to daycare. Like literally our mortgage and our daycare were almost to the dime the same amount. And it was crazy. So I finally just started posting. I just was like putting bellies and legs and everything. There was no rhyme or reason. Obviously Facebook's very, very different now than it was 6 years ago, but it was consistency. And within a few days, I started getting the messages. What are you doing? What is this stuff you're posting? What are you talking about? Did you get hacked? Are you scamming people? What is happening? But you guys, I didn't care that they were all like making these sort of like side-eye negative-y comments, because they were comments, they were interaction. And one girl was like, I don't know what you're doing, but how does that girl's legs not touch anymore? And I want to do this with you. I was like, what? She's like, I was like trying to explain the program to her. And she's like, no. Like, if you're selling something that does that, people want that. So I want to do this with you. I was like, okay. And that was my first distributor. I didn't even know anything about it, you guys. I was so clueless. I had no clue how things worked. And then a couple people were like talking to her, and all of a sudden, like, it was the end of the month and I was getting ready to go Ruby. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get this. And we have an upline, you guys, my ambassador upline, her name is Chantel. And the month that I joined is the month that she went ambassador. And she had done it in 15 months in her business. And the average ambassador makes over $30,000 a month. So that's baller, insane money, right? And I was like, well, she did it in 15 months. I wonder if I could do it in a year. And I went to an event. It's actually where I met her. Excuse me. And it was like a boot camp. So you guys, we've had like St. Louis boot camp. We're getting ready for green carpet. Like, I don't care what you have to do. Sell your kids' old toys, sell keto coffee, ask for a flight for your birthday. Like, get there. Because I sat in that room, you guys, for one day, 6 hours, arms crossed. I didn't want to be a part of it. I thought it was stupid. And I walked out a changed person. My mind was changed. My heart was changed. And I knew that girl just did it in 15 months. I'm going to do it in a year. I saw that income chart as a ladder, and there was no reason that I was not going to achieve that. So I just went to work. I was so freaking excited with not what I was doing. You guys, I was barely making any money. I was stressing about how to pay for an auto ship on that still maxed out credit card, right? But I knew what it was going to get me. And the number one thing I did every single day was post and ask people. Post, ask people, and then follow up. A week in, I was like, okay, I got to start following up with these people. You guys, I still today send the exact same message I sent 6 years ago. Hey girl, how are you? I know this probably seems really random, but I think you'd be really, really good at what I do. Have you ever thought about making extra money? Because it's that simple. I was so confident, not because of what I had done. I was barely done anything yet. Yeah, my stretch marks were faded from using some wraps, but I was so confident because I saw what the leaders were doing. And I knew that if I copied the right cat, I would get there too. And so you guys watching this Zoom, listening to it later, that's copying the right cat. You guys, I worked full time. I traveled regionally. I had a 2-year-old. My husband was in crazy busy season. Like, I got up at 5 a.m. to work out, would be ready by 6:20 to wake my daughter up, to be out the door by 6:45 for work. And then I was lucky if I was home with her by 5. And I'd have I didn't have a ton of time to work. It's not like I didn't work. I was traveling. I would literally be in school parking lots before I'd go in for fundraising meetings and be like messaging 3 people. It wasn't that I had hours a day. It's that I had a couple minutes, and it was front of mind that all the time I knew I needed to continue to do this. And I was so flipping excited. And I wasn't saying this is what I've gotten so far. I was saying this is where I'm going. I've seen people doing this. I'm doing it too. And I had the attitude of, I'm going to go make $1 million. You coming with me or not? And you guys, I broke $1 million of earnings in this business in less than 3 years. That's bonkers. I made $50,000 a year as a nonprofit fundraiser. And that was a really good salary in that industry. Like 20 years would have taken me. I did it in 33 months. You guys, now I have seen baller, insane cash months, and I've seen dips. And I can tell you the number one thing that continues to increase my income every single month is consistency. Messaging people every single day, posting every single day, sharing what I'm achieving and what I'm going to achieve. People don't really care what you are achieving. Like, if it's relatable, I was talking to Taylor about this the other day. People don't want to go buy a new house and travel the world. People want to fill up their gas tank and buy groceries without worrying about their debit card declining. Because the average American is only $500 away from bankruptcy. That's terrifying. Mm-hmm. And I know that, we paid off that $10,000 credit card in my first 6 months, and it works. I didn't spend a dime of it. And then I was able to leave my job. And I wouldn't recommend leaving your job as a brand new double diamond, but I had such faith and such vision and such clarity that I was unstoppable in this business. It was never that like, oh, maybe I could do this, maybe I couldn't. What's this person think? It was non-negotiable, clear vision, no obstacles. I was achieving it. And I claimed it every single day. And I claimed it to my team. I claimed it to my customers. I claimed it to every potential I had. I said, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to the top of this company. I'm so excited. These products are life-changing. This business is life-changing. This ownership is life-changing. You want to do this with me or not? And if they said, I don't know, I'm like, well, I'm here. I'm running. You want to join me now? You want to join me in 5 years? I'm still going to be here. You guys, I have had people come back to me. I have had people come in the last 6 months and they'd be like, I just can't believe I didn't listen to you 5 years ago. I can't believe I didn't join you when I first thought about it. And I'm like, well, I can't either. But the amazing thing is that the opportunity is still there. Like, you guys, the product line is completely different than when I started. Social media marketing, attraction marketing, completely different than when I started. I feel every single day, every single week, I feel like I am like running a new business. Like, I'm brand new in this business. I am learning. So you have to be learning every day. But I just need you to know, like, what you are capable of and that your vision needs to keep growing. So I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to walk and talk. I'm going to show you this. So you guys, my dream board has evolved over the years. So here's one. Like, this was just added. Save $1 million, give $1 million. So on top of learning or like saving for ourselves, I want to have $1 million in our savings account. And I want to be able to find an organization I love so much that I can write them $1 million check or multiple. Like, how amazing would it be if I'm on 100 organizations to give $10,000 to? Like, what change could I make in the world with that? You know, my visions used to be pay off my debt, buy land, get a new car, things like that. My vision has grown, and I've done that through self-development. I've done that through leveling up my circle, leveling up my circle. That was big. That happened last summer. I had been really stuck. I had been stuck in the same place. My income had dropped. And I stood up at Green Carpet last summer and I said, I am done, because I am done playing small and I'm playing very big. And, they make this big deal out of it's double ambassador is the next rank you can go to. And I'm like, no, I want to be triple ambassador. I want my primary account, I want my husband's account, and I want my secondary account to all be ambassador. Got one done. Tom's is getting close. And then I got to build my 2.0. So, and things like, I have like what we think we become. That's so true. Debt-free, huge. I want to put in our dream kitchen paid in cash. I want to be a black diamond in 2020. 2019, I want to be a top 5 earner. Here's a really fun one. See this little puppy? So after my income had dropped a little bit, Tom told me I've been wanting that puppy like since I was a child. It was going to be named Waffles. And Tom told me that if I got my income back to us, he gave me a certain number, because he's the dog trainer and the poop scooper, so he kind of gets to dictate dogs. He said I could pick out the dream puppy I've wanted my whole life. And so that was a short-term goal, right? But I still had to get there. And those were some big numbers and some big things I had to jump again. And you guys, we put a deposit down on that puppy last week, and it's going to look exactly like that puppy. So we're getting that puppy in 6 weeks. I could like cry thinking about it. And you guys, I claimed it. I have been claiming for 3 years that I'm getting Waffles the puppy. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but I sit in this office during the day. I want like a baby in my lap, and not a human baby. I'm done with those. Like, I want a puppy baby. I love puppies. So things like when our kids are older, I mean, Tom and I were on a vacation last week because we could, because my parents are retired, and we said, hey, you fly in, do you think you just maybe not fly home till like Thursday instead of Sunday? And they're like, yeah, why, what's up? I'm like, we just kind of need a break, and we need a brain break, and we need some time to connect, for our marriage. And we're just going to book a trip to Mexico. And we did, in cash, on a whim, and went 3 weeks later. Like, that's the freedom you can gain. And that's what I'm wanting you guys to grasp, is that it's so hard to see when you're right in it and you're in the beginning and you're struggling, because this business, you guys, so imagine a network marketing business like a mountain, right? So those first few steps up, like a steep hill, are like excruciating, right? And you feel like you've been going forever, and you look back and you're like, how have I gone 20 feet? Like, what's happening? Why did it feel so hard to get there? And then you kind of get in your groove, right? But it is still freaking hard. And you are climbing and you are digging in, and it gets steeper. And you feel like, I am putting in so much work. I am working so hard. How have I only come this far? And in network marketing, it's, I've put in so much work. How have I only made this much money? It sucks. Your first month, when you feel like you've been busting your butt and you got all these customers and you're like, yeah, I got my free product. And then you made like $80. And you're like, what the shit? I mean, $80, like, it's frustrating, right? So then you keep digging in. And that's when it's easy to be like, screw this, I'm going back down. Because that's what most people do. 80% of people leave a network marketing company within 6 months. Guys, I looked at my numbers today. In the lifetime of my business, I've had 46,000 distributors join my downline. Active right now, I have about 8,000. Most of them quit. 80% quit. I thought it was closer to 50,000. So I need to like pull some different reports to see what's shaking out, because I thought I was about to hit 50,000, but 46,000. About 8,000 or 9,000 are active right now. So you guys, the thing is that that first little stretch of the mountain, that's when it's the hardest. That's when it's so hard to give up. So that's when you got to dig in, and eventually you're going to get your groove. But it's slow on that first side of the mountain, right? And you are digging in and you're sweating and you may slip back a little bit and you got to keep going. And it's really easy when to look back for your friends, and they can pull you back too, right? But what's going to happen is you get to kind of double or triple diamond. And that's kind of that crest. And then what happens is this unbelievable momentum. Somewhere around there, you're starting, kind of got in your groove. The mountain's kind of leveling off. It's feeling a little easier. And you're like, oh, I am really making some badass money and I'm not working. I mean, you're working hard and consistently, but it feels like at the beginning you work so hard and get paid like nothing for it. Suddenly you kind of get to double, triple diamond. You're still working hard, but it's like disproportionate the other way, right? You're making more money for it. And then you kind of get to this crest, and then you start to hit presidential ambassador. And that's when you start creeping over that. That's when you have so many people in your business, and you have so much mass momentum together that the snowball finally starts to roll. Guys, it can happen in a year. It can happen in 5. It can happen in 10. There are people in this business who it's taken them 8 or 9 years to go ambassador. But do you think that, like, what would happen if they quit after 5? Like, they wouldn't be here. They wouldn't be making this. Like, people hit seasons of momentum all the time in their business. And I was very fortunate that I hit a season of momentum instantly. 6 months into my business, I hit momentum. I went on a massive leadership bonus run. I was number 7 income earner in the company, 14 months in my business. Like, that's mind blowing. And Pam and Mark still joke. They're like, we didn't even know who you were. And I'm like, yep, that was fun. But you guys, I've also had seasons of my business very low where I've questioned, is this really for me? But I knew I could look at that vision board, and right next to that vision board are pictures of my kids and pictures of my family. And I know that I cannot look at their face and say, no, you were not worth it. I quit. You can't do that. I can't look at my kid's face and say the early mornings, the late nights, the phone calls, the exhaustion, because I'm going to be real honest, and it can get emotionally exhausting sometimes to be on and talking to people all the time, because this business is painfully simple, right? If you're talking to 30 PDTs, you're having the exact same conversation with 30 people. It can get boring, but I can't look at my kid and say, no, you're not worth answering that message. No, you're not worth getting on that phone call or jumping on that plane or going to do that event, because my kids are worth it, because I know that with this, I can not only create these, like, a legacy for them, right? Be completely debt free. By about March next year is our goal. We'll be 100% debt free, except for we have 2 mortgages. We have a second home, except for our 2 mortgages. In another year, we're going to be renovating the entire first floor of this home, which is a multi-6-figure project. I'm creating this life for my kids, but I'm also creating memories. Tom and I are laying on the beach in Mexico together last week and giving them, that's a memory for our marriage, but it gave them a week with their grandma and grandpa. That was pretty awesome. But as we were sitting there talking, we were talking about dreams and visions and bucket lists. And I said, gosh, when the kids are older, when the boys are like 10 and 11 and Addie's like 15, why wouldn't we just last day of school, pack everything up, put everybody on a plane and spend the entire summer traveling around the world and hit Europe and Africa and Asia and Australia and end in Hawaii and, just spend 3 weeks in eight places. And he was like, oh, that'd be awesome. Let's do that. Like, and who actually thinks like that? I mean, that's probably like $100,000 trip, right? Like, but it's like not oh God, in our wildest dreams and our bucket list. It's like, why would we wait till we're 80 to do our bucket list? Like, let's create the life we want now. And so it's like, for the longest time, I was just sitting there, like saving and working hard with the thought that I was going to live later. And now I know that with this business, I can create so much income and so many assets and like live now. I just cannot wait to live every day. Even like last night, we were like, oh gosh, so we're going to get this puppy and we have like a 3-day window. And we're like, oh, let's go book a trip to that amusement park and water park for 3 days, and went on Airbnb, booked it for 3 nights, bought the tickets, and between the tickets and the Airbnb and everything, it's like going to be like $1,000 trip. And we were able to say like, yeah, we've got that. We're ready to do that. And it's not because we just frivolously live on no budget. You guys, I will be the first to tell you that we do not do that. I budget very strictly. We save, we pay ourselves first, but we budget fun and we budget experiences. And that's the sort of things that you can do with this business. And, not to mention like your health. I mean, I look back at pictures, I look at Time Hop and I'm like, well, I look way younger now than I did 6 years ago. My skin's better. I'm in better shape. I'm probably in the best shape of my life. And how I've grown as a person is nothing that I can ever fully like quantify in this business. And Tom will say it best, my husband, because he's like, I've watched you turn into this person that like wanted to be a leader and wanted to do something on your own, but never had any idea how to do it, to now I've turned into this person who all I crave all day is helping empower other people do all the things that they've ever dreamed. And that's what I guess I'm trying to share with you guys today, is that like wherever those crazy bucket list things, those things you want to do someday, like stop waiting for someday. Like this is your vehicle. It works as your vehicle. I cannot stress it enough. I've had so many friends in network marketing show me so many compensation plans, and we pay the best. You guys, we are so consistent. Our CEO is so innovative, how our business is growing, our products are growing. This is the vehicle. The charts literally are your roadmap, and all you have to do is put on the gas. But you guys, what happens to a car if you like gas, no gas, gas, no gas, gas, no gas? You break the engine, you break the transmission, and you don't get anywhere, right? Even if you're only going 2 miles an hour, you have to keep pushing on that gas at all times. Even if you want to go 2 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour, or you want to be blowing the speed limit out of the water and going 100 miles an hour, that's on you, because it doesn't matter if it takes you a month, a year, or 10 years to make $1 million in this business. This is your vehicle to do it. But you have to watch Show Me the Money calls, follow top leaders. Motivation is intrinsic and nobody can motivate you, but your motivation comes from inspiration. So you have to allow yourself to be inspired. You have to get on calls. You have to watch videos. If you don't feel like working, look at that dream board. That if you don't have a dream board made, you better make one. You got to look at that dream board and look at who you're doing those dreams for. And if you can truly look at them, your kids, your family, your spouse, whoever that is, you look at yourself in the mirror and say, no, you're not worth it. You're not worth achieving those dreams, then quit. Then you shouldn't be doing this. But if you can't look yourself in the mirror and you're like, no, I am worth it. You guys are worth it. Whatever those crazy dreams are, there is no reason you need to wait till you're 7 years old and retired. I'm watching my parents do that right now. My parents slaved away their entire lives. And now they're in their late 60s and 70s and they're trying to travel the world. And my poor arthritic dad is getting thrown on one plane after another by my mom. And he's going crazy. And all he wants to do is golf. And she's like, but I just wanted to do this my whole life. I wanted to, my freaking 65-year-old mother hiked Machu Picchu last year. She waited till she was 65 to do it. Like, why didn't she go when she was 30? She couldn't. They didn't have the money. They didn't have the time. You guys, the money is great. The money is beautiful. The money will create a legacy for my children and my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. But you guys, the time is so priceless. I'm so sunburned. Sure, you can see it. I spent my entire day yesterday with all three of my kids, with my phone in my pocket, barely touched it except for a few pictures, at a school picnic. And we rode rides, and we ate ice cream in the middle of the afternoon, and we played in bounce houses and got face paint and did the whole thing for my daughter's school. It's a huge fundraiser for her school. I watched all these dads showing up midday, like taking off their suit jackets, and like moms showing up in scrubs, and people who had to take off time of work, change their schedule. I can't tell you how many people are like, oh, just as soon as we get this is just always one of my paid days off this year, one of my 14. And I'm like, I just can't fathom that. I can't fathom that only 14 days a year I get to say yes to my kids. Only 14 days a year I get to say where I get to be. And that's why I knew this business was right for me, because I didn't want anyone else telling me when I could or could not see my kids and my family or do what I want anymore. And it's probably why I rubbed bosses the wrong way sometimes, and definitely rubbed coaches the wrong way as an athlete in high school. I don't like people telling me what to do, because when I want something, I don't see any reason that I can't have it. I didn't like a basic 8 to 5, 9 to 5. I could get my work done in 3 hours. Why'd I have to be there for 8? That's dumb. So that's where this business is giving me that freedom, and the time is priceless, you guys. I just can't do it for the money, do it to pay off the debt, because getting to go on the trips and have the experiences, it makes it a lot easier if you have a good amount of money. But the time, you'll never get that time for your marriage, for your kids, for your family, for yourself. Even if you're freaking single, go do all those things you want to do, because if you just keep waiting for someday, it may never come. Okay. I went so soapbox, so many different directions there. I knew, you just have to ask me one question. I talk for 3 hours.
That was perfect. I loved it. Thank you so much. Your story is so, so inspiring. And
oh, you're so sweet. I just want people to realize what they have their hands on. And it's so hard to see early on. And I get that. And that's why, as a new distributor, as an exec, as a Ruby, you have to stay connected. You have to listen to calls, watch videos. If you have never read any self-development, any network marketing book, every single person needs to read the book Beach Money by Jordan Adler. Okay, if you guys don't, you can find it on Amazon, or I think even just beachmoney.com. He sells it directly from himself. Beach Money by Jordan Adler. It's the first network marketing book I ever read. I read it actually on a beach when I went to Triple Diamond. We took a vacation to Jamaica, and I read it because I was always like, well, all this self-development, all these books, I don't have time for this. I got to recruit my team. I got to work. And then I realized that by not spending money or spending time on myself, by not doing the self-development, I had no self left to develop. I was like a shell. I had drained my cup so empty that it took a long time. I was so burnt out. You guys, by the time I went ambassador, I didn't sign a single loyal or a single distributor for 2 months after I went ambassador, because I was so burnt out. And that's not how it should be. And I want to show you guys and teach you guys how to do it differently, how to do it with balance. And that means turning off your phone sometimes for your family. My phone, obviously right tonight, we decided to do this at this time, but generally 4 to 7 p.m., that's time for my kids and my family. That's dinner time. That's homework, whatever. I have 3 kids now. But being able to pour into myself, fill myself up, that's how I know that I can be the strongest, most positive leader for our team, but also the strongest, most positive inspiration to people who want to come join me. If I'm not putting that energy out, who's going to be drawn in by it? So you have to fill yourself up. So Beach Money, that was the #1 book I would recommend you read. It gives such vision to the long term with network marketing in general. It's really, really, really an incredible book.
I really also liked The Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, I think.
Yeah.
That one's really good too. Okay, so I have one question though.
Yeah,
So
of
I've
course.
never been to green carpet, but I went to conference, which is my first event. I went last year. Is it similar or like
It's
what?
like mini conference. Yeah,
Okay.
think of it as like mini conference. It's like one day, but it's in a convention center. So there's hype and there's lights and it's loud and it's fun and like the energy is so good. And they used to do it always in July and now they moved it to September because July in Southern Florida is like 120 degrees. So September will still be very hot, but it'll be beautiful. It like at least cools down a little bit at night. So green carpet is so fun. The only times I've ever missed them was 2 years in a row. I was pregnant. And it was like Zika a couple years ago, so I couldn't be in Florida. So it's the only time I've ever missed a green carpet. You guys, I just the energy being there, I cannot tell you enough. Like getting to events, an event my upline said, I told her I'll do whatever you tell me to do for 3 months, and then when I quit, you can't be mad at me because I just thought it wouldn't work. But she said you got to go to this event, and I was like, I don't want to. I can't get a sitter. She's like, told me you do whatever. And you guys, because I went to that event, it changed my entire life. Because of one thing one person said on stage, it connected to me. And I was like, oh my God, this is it. And I just ugly cried. And I turned and looked at my sponsor and I said, I will be on that stage next year. And you guys, the next year at Green Carpet, 1 year to the day, I walked the stage as the number 56 earner in the entire company as a brand new presidential diamond. And you guys, that's what's amazing about our compensation plan. You guys, there are double diamonds in the top 100 earners. Like there are double diamonds that make more than presidentials. It's about the compensation plan and how you use it. So here's the key to making a boatload of money in this business. Go diamond and then keep signing people. Personally enrolled diamonds are the number one way you're going to make the most money in this business once you are diamond. So go diamond as quickly as you can. And it doesn't really matter if it takes you 2 months or 2 years because you're going to go diamond and then keep signing people. And when you sign the next person that's like you, that takes off and goes crazy once you're diamond, your whole business can change, your whole income can change. And I can say that 100%, that's what happened to me when I went top 10 in my first year, is because I found 2 more me after I had gone double diamond. So, but yeah, and here's the thing. If you want to have total rock stars on your team, if you want a team of total runners, you have to be what you want to attract. And I am telling you, the right ones will come into you and claim it. Literally, I say out loud in my office every day, new distributors are chasing me down to join my team. My inbox is filled with excited, positive people. Don't be afraid to speak those things out. I know it sounds crazy, but you guys, it will happen. What you put out, what you think you become, and then what you become, you will attract.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome. I
you.
have to go tuck kids into bed. I found Old School Garfield on Amazon Prime, and they're super pumped about that. So thank God I've only heard one screaming fit since I've been in here. And they seem to have figured it out.
Aw, thank you so much for pouring into us.
You are welcome, you guys. I just